There are so many people out there panicking right now about crypto. We've just had the biggest capitulation event, which wiped out the most leverage within crypto history. And then we're starting to get positive news as we start to go into QE. Now, this is an important thing because the macro events are saying that we're due an on risk rally. Collectively, things that we're looking at, i.e., total three, i.e., the Russell 2000, others against Bitcoin, all of these charts collectively, which indicate on risk, are still at a place where we could still have an on risk rally. However, as far as the Bitcoin cycle is concerned, we looked previously and I analyzed exactly when I thought the end of the cycle was going to be. I was wrong, guys. Remember, the markets rhyme, the markets never repeat. They've caught us off guard this year because we've been expecting alt season during 2025 for the whole of 2025, and we are in November now. So, will we get an alt season towards the end of 2025? What's the probabilities that alt season could be cancelled? And could we even have an on risk rally as far as altcoins are concerned going into January 2026? And what we're going to do is we're going to go from a macro perspective and I'm going to zoom out onto the weekly time frame. But first, we're going to look at Bitcoin and what needs to happen in the coming days with Bitcoin. So it is Sunday. We're going into a new week. We've just had end of month and Bitcoin has just broken a key level that we did talk about in my previous video, which is showing that Bitcoin is flipping bullish. One strong thing that Bitcoin's done, if we just pull up the moving averages, you could see this green moving average here, 200 moving average, we've just taken back the 200 moving average. Remember, above the 200, you're bullish. Below the 200, you're bearish. So we've got two support bases to fall back on. We've got 109,000 and then we've got 110,200. So as long as we close the candle above 110,809 on the day, we're expecting a continuation to push up to the 50 period moving average. So that's what I'm expecting in the coming days. And if Bitcoin starts moving up towards that, then that's going to give conviction for altcoins to go further on risk down the risk curve as Bitcoin starts regaining these levels. So we've seen that Bitcoin's had its bull run for the last 3 years, and we can identify that when we zoom out and we look into my weekly chart that we've been looking at for years on this channel now. So Bitcoin on the weekly, you can see one thing. We were looking at the time of the cycle and we estimated the time of the cycle based on previous cycles to find out and identify when we thought we would get an on risk rally. And anyone that's been around for a while would recognize this. We had, and we could go down here and we could just follow it through. We had in 2015 the bear market low. You could see bear market low. Then for 152 weeks, Bitcoin run, and then Bitcoin put in its top after 152 weeks. And then we went into a bear market in 2017. We went into a bear market for 52 weeks. Remember, 152 and 52. Then we looked at the next bull run. So the next bull run, there's the bottom. You can see that clearly. All the way to the top, you could see 69,679. How long was that cycle? That cycle was, my friends, 152 weeks, the same as the previous cycle. So then we had the bear market 2022. And you could see one thing, bear market, there's the high, there's the low before we had the bull run, 52 weeks, exactly the same as the previous one. So we got something here. We got some previous data to go by. And then we were estimating 152 weeks for the end of the Bitcoin cycle. And you can see one thing. We're nearly there. We put in a top. Is this the end of the bull run? Are we going to go through a bear market? Is alt season cancelled? That is the question in everyone's mind. And this is why I think that alt season's not cancelled. So first and foremost, pretty accurate. I said it's not going to be an exact science. You use it as a prediction. And the case is whether Bitcoin puts in a new high or whether Bitcoin starts distributing at higher levels as things start going into altcoins, as things start going further down the risk curve before we get the bear market. So I don't know, guys. The markets rhyme, the markets never repeat. I haven't got a crystal ball. We can just look at previous data and we can analyze based on that previous data. So the next thing that we're going to look at is Ethereum. This is the weekly chart, don't forget. This is Ethereum. You can see that Ethereum's in a bull flag. Ethereum's putting in a higher low. It's just broken out of the pennant. It's retesting the pennant. And we're waiting for Ethereum to put in a new all-time high. So that's bullish. Ethereum, next support is 3,358, and we want that level to hold. Ideally, we want to break to the upside. When we get a break to the upside, there's a high probability Ethereum is going to put in new all-time highs once again with an extension on the swing. So further down the risk curve, Ethereum, Bitcoin. Remember, Ethereum's the second biggest market asset. Bitcoin's the least risky asset as far as crypto is concerned. So we measure the two together to find out, are people holding Bitcoin? Are people holding Ethereum? And is Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin at any given time? And you can see that's exactly what's happened. We have got a bull flag on Ethereum, and Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. That is bullish. We're pulling back. We're holding this level of support. We're holding a higher low, and we're waiting to push up and push up and push up on Ethereum. Now, this is the thing. This is the thing that hasn't actually smashed down yet. And you can see this is 2017, and we got this big, massive smash to the downside. What was that, my friends? That was 2017 alt season. That is altcoins battering Bitcoin. We had exactly the same in 2021. Anyone remember this? Let me know in the comments. 2021, altcoins battered Bitcoin for a short amount of time. And this hasn't happened yet. We've put in a lower high. We're waiting for altcoins to batter Bitcoin, and it hasn't happened yet. So Bitcoin dominance, what is the flip side? If Bitcoin keeps going up, Bitcoin keeps going up, altcoins keep going down, dominance keeps going up. Doesn't sound right, guys. It's never happened before. So we look at the total three, and you can see, although altcoins are being battered, although your altcoins are being battered, although we've got this big capitulation wick, it all got bought up. Confidence back in the market, total free, hovering around $1 trillion and holding that area of support. S&P 500, all-time highs, all-time highs. Remember, this is the weekly. Each one of these candles represents 1 week of price action. USDT dominance, looking like it's rejecting. We want a push to the downside. That is bullish for crypto. Spend your tether. Spend your tether. Put it in altcoins. Bring the dominance down. That's exactly what happened. How strong's the Dixie? Dollar against the bag of currencies. We want a rejection. We want downside pressure. And if we get downside pressure in the coming weeks, expect an acceleration for altcoins. And this is the one that's going to hit the nail in the head when we really start breaking these levels on the Russell 2000, the US small cap 2000 index. Once that starts pushing in new all-time highs, one thing will happen on total three, exactly the same thing. Bam, bam, bam on risk. So all of these charts collectively, even others against Bitcoin, is saying that we need to do one thing. We need to break some new highs. We need an event that's going to create some kind of a catalyst that's going to push these markets. It's going to push total three, new all-time highs. It's going to push the Russell 2000, new all-time highs. It's going to drop the dominance. And that's exactly what we're waiting for, is a confirmation that we're going to get an on-risk rally, that we're going to get alt season. And that's why, my friends, that I think that we will get an alt season either end of 2025 or going into 2026. Although the Bitcoin cycle's broken, we still haven't had an on-risk rally as far as stocks are concerned, as far as crypto is concerned. And guys, that's about it from me. Let me know in the comments what you want me to cover next. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you very shortly.